So welcome everyone. So based upon everything that Nyati's talked about, I came up with a few things because it's the season, it's the end of the year, it's the holidays, everybody's eating a lot. So what can we think of that we can make that has low sugar beverages, that's a whole grain snack, something that you could eat that's not processed, or it's processed but it's coming, you're making it yourself, so it's processed minimally. So I came up with 3 different recipes. The first was a spa beverage, and I made it yesterday. And I put a container, and I put some blackberries in it, and then I put some sage in it, and I mashed it all up, and I put some water, and I put it in the fridge, and I left it there to keep it cold for you, and it's still there.
Oh.
So you have to imagine the beverage you're not going to have tonight. I apologize.
It was that good you kept it for yourself.
I guess so. But I do have a list of all kinds of different opportunities. So the idea is, I love to drink water, and I don't always drink water. I'll also drink iced tea. So I always at home, I have a big pack container. I'll boil some water, throw some tea bags in, 5 minutes later, put it out, stick it in my fridge, and I've always got a gallon of tea. And between my son, my husband, and I, pretty much every other day, I'm making another gallon of tea. And that's what we drink. There's no sugar added. There is caffeine. So if you want a caffeine-free tea, just make another one. If you don't like iced tea, as we literally drink it like water, the spa beverages are a nice way to go. So the idea is that you take whatever flavors you've got or that you like. So it's winter time, so citrus is available. So take some slices of orange, lemon, lime, whatever you like, put it in a big glass container because we don't want to use plastic now. Take the back of the wooden spoon, I just take the handle of it, stick it in there, mash it, because you want some of the fruit to come into the, if you've got any fresh herbs. There you go. That one. This is the homemade sourdough.
Do you want it bigger?
Probably, so they can read it. Thank you. If you got any herbs, or you've got some ginger, or you like chili in your spa water, whatever it is, you like cucumber, throw that in. Mash it all up. Throw some cold water in, put the top on, stick it in your fridge. Try it tomorrow, the next day, whatever it is. And then you've got this really great flavored water. And it does have flavor, so it's not like I'm giving up drinking the beverage I'm used to drinking. You don't have to drink juice, it's just a little bit of juice, but it infuses enough that it's really good, it's refreshing, you can drink a lot of it. And just strain it on the way out. You can always throw some more things in it. And you get to be creative, it's always different, as opposed to my iced tea, which is always the same. So that's just some ideas. And I literally just, you can, and the winter time, if you can't find fresh fruit, you can always get frozen fruit. So just throw a cup or 2 cups of frozen fruit in, throw your water in, smash it up, and you've got something to drink. So lots of opportunities, whatever you're in the mood for.
What do you think about the new movement that I've heard lately of using the peels and the rinds to make pastes or dips or fruits or drinks, to put that in your drink?
So like when they're grinding out fruit to make beverages,
No,
is that what you mean?
if you say you're eating an orange,
Oh,
they say
gotcha.
don't throw away the peels, save
Throw
the
that in.
lemon, or all that stuff. There's a lot of value in there that
Yeah.
we should have, but you put it in water, but they're saying to refine it.
Yeah. So if you've got citrus, the color of the citrus, the outside part, has really great essential oils. So the orange part. If you take a vegetable peeler and just pull off just the orange part, and then throw that in the water, it's really nice. The thing that's underneath it, which is the whitish stuff, it protects the fruit, but it's bitter.
Right.
So that's the pith. So if you want to make it just a little more pleasant, just take the vegetable peeler, just take off the colored part, and as little bit of the pith as possible, throw that in, it's delicious. Yeah, cucumbers, things like that, that's a good, really great idea, thank you.
I read that seltzer water is better than regular water in one paper.
So was it?
I read in one place that seltzer water is better than regular water.
Well, it's better than soda.
It's good for the man selling it.
As long as it's fresh tap water, it's good for you
Something
and
to
doesn't
do
give.
with
What they add is to make the bubbles.
yeah.
I don't think it's better for you. I don't know.
Carbonated.
Have you heard it? Yeah, it's carbonated. They just.
It could work negatively too to some people. It could be an irritant. But I find
That's
it
good.
more filling.
Okay.
And but the effervescence disagrees with some people's esophagus and with their meds.
Right. Yeah, and some of them have salt added to it, but just regular. It's not always salt added to it. But if you enjoy it, you could do the spa water with that too. You can just take whatever you think, squeeze the piece of peel or whatever, throw it in your, I always take a little bit of lime, stick it in my glass, put some seltzer in and drink it that way. So I'm not drinking soda, but it feels like something special. So it's personal preference. And no one's ever going to say water's not good for you. It's the majority of our body. So that's the first thing that you don't get to try. I apologize. The next one is salad dressing. So it's party time, and everyone feels like you've always got to eat a salad because it's good for you. But most salads are kind of boring. And they also want to do dips because it's for parties and stuff like that. So if you can do something that you could do that's fairly healthy, it's a lot of vegetables in it, and you feel like you're actually snacking on vegetables, because I have some samples here. So I've got a salad dressing I'm going to demonstrate, and all you need is a blender. So I'm going to start with the recipe up here, carrot ginger dressing. And the recipe calls for 2 medium carrots, but also calls for half a pound, which is good because I've got about a bag of carrots. I wash them, cut the tips off. They are organic. And everything I bought here is from Trader Joe's, so there's nothing exotic here. Except for the paper cups and the napkins, everything came out of one purchase from Trader Joe's.
I think they're better than Whole Foods.
Yeah, whole paycheck.
No, I mean, what do you call it? Trader Joe's.
Yeah, no, I like them a lot too. Yeah. So I'm just
Whole
gonna,
Foods.
just gonna chop up my 8 ounces of carrot. I did not peel it. I just washed it really well. It's fine. I'm gonna do some ginger. So.
Just trying to make it bigger.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. If you want to peel ginger, the trick to peeling ginger is not a vegetable peeler, it's a spoon.
The backwards.
Just the side of the spoon, yeah.
It's
So
great if you have a cold tooth, make a tea of it.
yeah, sliced ginger and some honey or some lemon, yeah.
Nah, I skipped the honey.
Well, if your throat's bothering you. So it scrapes it, it works really well. And then I'm just going to chop a little bit up. It's going into my blender, so it doesn't have to be too fine. But, and the recipe calls for just a tablespoon, and I'm just chopping it up because my blender can handle it. If you've got a blender that can't handle the large pieces of ginger, you should grate it. But if you like ginger a lot, put in more. It's okay, it's good, it's flavor.
How about ginger tea?
Ginger tea is delicious. Yeah, that's good. So that's another one of those things that you can throw. You can do the spa water with ginger. It's really nice.
These bags, they sell bags of ginger tea.
Oh yeah, but you could also just take ginger. The thing is, it's dry ginger.
It takes more time to prepare.
That is not a problem. Go with it. I always have ginger at home, so I just slice it up, put it in there. But yeah, that's just dried ginger. It's the same thing. So there's some ginger going in there. There's half an onion. I peeled it. I'm going to just chop it up. Put that in there.
Is that a white onion? It's a white?
Yeah, it's a white onion. It doesn't have to be. It's what I decided to buy.
With that, I look for a shape where I can grip it, because I'm only worried about getting cut. Some of them are too round and they slide all over.
I wish I'd thrown it. So what you want to do is cut it in half.
I do,
Okay, and then put the flat side down.
right.
Okay, so that way you can hold it a little bit or it doesn't wobble. So you do that already?
So I'm cutting it, especially now.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then I like red onion, but I don't have as many places to put it.
Yeah, good in salads and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have, let's go through canola oil. I've got some grapeseed oil. Gonna put that in there. And rice vinegar.
How much oil is it?
It's a cup. Yeah. A cup of grapeseed oil, half a cup of rice vinegar. Rice vinegar. I measure them out already. But you can notice all the bottles right out of Trader Joe's. It's not a promotion for them. But
If anyone wants a copy of the recipes tonight, I'm going to pass this sheet of paper around. Just leave your email address and we will
I
email
don't
it
have
to you.
emails, so I can't tell you those.
okay.
I can email it.
A little bit of soy sauce, some sugar.
What is that for?
If
And
you want the recipe emailed to you, just write your email.
yeah, there is sugar, but it's a tablespoon of sugar for 4 cups of salad dressing. So if you look at the bottle of salad dressing you buy, there's a lot more in there. So the
Why do
ginger, the carrots,
But why do you even need that?
just adds a little bit of sweetness. You don't need it. If you don't want to leave it out, you can always change it. This is just my suggestion. But you can change it any way you want. Some salt, some fresh pepper. You always want to grate it fresh because it tastes better. And that's everything. And voila, it becomes salad dressing. You want to pass it around? Plugging it in.
Oh, you see the outlet over there?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Just hold it. And then you just put a spoon in, taste it, see if it's got the proper amount of acidity. Do you need a little more vinegar? Does it have enough salt and pepper? And then it's really great for salad. It is a heavy dressing, so if you're going to pick which lettuce to use, this isn't the salad dressing to use on the really soft, tender leaves that have been very popular in the last years. It's better for the romaine and the sturdier leaves because you're putting something actually on it. You're eating it with jicama, which we bought, again, I bought it at Trader Joe's. I sound like a commercial. They already pre-sliced. You can buy a whole jicama, peel it and slice it up, but Trader Joe's sells it already cut, ready to go, easy to snack on. Rather than pulling out a pretzel or a potato chip, pull out a jicama stick.
Why is this going to be better than a bottle of vegetable juice from the supermarket?
What is it called?
Jicama.
J-I-C-A-M-A.
Yeah, it's a
also
Mexican.
called yobing or Japanese potato. Oh.
Thank you. Didn't know that one.
Yeah, I found it in Mecca when I was in San Diego about 1980s, the first time I tasted it.
Yeah, in California is where I found it too.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
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 Is it
So-
more Mexican or where is it?
I buy it in Chinatown too, but yeah, jicama isn't actually the Spanish word because the J pronounces an H is Spanish. So your question was, why is that better than tomato?
Then a vegetable juice bottle you buy in the supermarket.
Well, this is actually not meant to be drunk. The idea is that it's a salad dressing. You're eating it with food.
This is not a vegetable juice?
No, no,
This is
no.
a dressing?
Dressing.
No, it's a dressing or a dip,
Okay,
either
but
one.
There's quite a bit.
Yeah, you don't drink it.
How about
Oh, thank you.
you buy a dressing from the supermarket?
So the dressing in the supermarket is much more processed.
Balsamic vinegar?
Well, that's fine too. Yeah, that's if you want to use balsamic vinegar. It was just this is an alternative to balsamic vinegar, just a little more interesting, and also something that you could use as a dip if you want to have a party, or you just want a little snack thing. It's like with some vegetables with something, where you wouldn't necessarily put a container of balsamic vinegar out and snack it with some vegetable dip. You would do with that. Just an option. Yeah.
What do you call these?
A jicama. The stick is a jicama.
Pick them up.
If we can pass the box around.
Yes, I think
It's
it's
a
coming
vegetable.
around.
Oh, okay,
It's
it's
a
coming around.
vegetable.
Yeah,
It's a vegetable.
yeah. It's a root vegetable.
That's it.
I didn't think to bring a whole one. But it's a light brown on the outside. It's about this big probably. Light brown on the outside. You peel off the outside and then the rest is what you're eating. But you could use carrots, you could use celery, you could use anything.
Pick them up.
Yeah,
Pick them up.
Jicama.
yeah.
That's from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it there.
It's fun. But the idea is it's juicy, it's comfortable, and the idea is to snack on something healthy. It's a whole vegetable rather than pull out something. It's just as easy.
And you can also toss it into a
I
salad.
found
if
how
you
it's
wanna
spelled.
change it.
Yeah.
Very good.
I used to have the,
Jicama. So
This
right
one,
there.
they
Oh, bad.
sell it like this already sliced from Trader Joe's.
But it's good.
Pick 'em up.
You have to dip
Yeah.
it in there.
Konnichiwa.
It's a vegetable.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a root
So the
vegetable.
next one
A root
is
vegetable.
another thing. So I grew up with my mother always had a bowl of whole nuts sitting on the table, and you'd sit there and you crack the nut. You can't eat it that quickly because that was the thing she did in wintertime. But they don't sell whole nuts in shells anymore. Everything is easy to eat. Right? What was the last time you saw a walnut in the shell?
You go into the wrong store.
Where do you get them? I'd love to have them.
It's the Russian markets in Brooklyn.
Okay, yes, that is true.
They also have the shell, but and
Yeah.
Wonderful. And Stop and Shop has the natural wonder pistachios.
Okay, so pistachios still come in the shells and
salt
peanuts
added,
still come in the
not
shells.
roasted, no oils.
Yeah. Pistachios and peanuts you can. But the idea is that to sit there and open them up, it slows you down. So the other
There's a whole barrels
Yeah.
also of the nuts, like almonds, like when my mother had a grocery store 50, 60 years ago, they
Yeah.
used to have.
Yeah, they're not nearly as prevalent anymore. So instead of sitting there and just breaking them, we sit there and we take them by the handful and stick them into our mouth, which is good because it's still nuts, but you still want to think about it.
Measure it like this and put the bag
Usually
away.
the hick-
Right. Exactly. And I like to just make them a little special. So what I like to do is season them. So there's all different ways of doing it. So the one I'm going to do today for spicing it, I like to go a little heavier on the spice because if it's really spicy, I slow down. But also I'll take one at a time, and it is better to have a serving rather than the big container of it, because that's what I was doing today. I was sitting there grading papers, and I had the big container of nuts next to me, and I ate more than I probably could have if I just done a small container. But it's you find the things that make you snack, and then you figure out, okay, what can I do that I can still snack, but it's going to be a healthy snack at that period, because we've all got certain things that set us up when we're snacking. Sometimes it's after dinner, sometimes whatever it is that you do that makes you snack. So the spice nut's really great for parties. I actually give it as a gift sometimes. If I'm going to someone's house, I'll put it in a nice glass jar, like a bell jar, and then I put a ribbon around it, and it's a really great house gift. So what we're going to do, in a container, we're going to do just a little bit of maple syrup. It's a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. It's going to have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Goes in tight.
Bless you.
It's going to have, calls for cayenne pepper, 1/2 to a teaspoon. I actually brought a paprika. The one you're going to get has cayenne. The one I'm going to make today is it's a really spicy, hot paprika, because you can change things up. Even though this is the recipe, it doesn't mean you have to stick to it. Even though it's my recipe, I don't stick to it. Then I'm going to take some herbs. So I happen to have some rosemary and sage. I like both of those. You don't want the real tender ones. This is not the kind of recipe that you're going to put cilantro in. You want the ones that are a little woodier. So these happen to be. And they are also sort of the wintry type things. So I'm going to take some sage leaves. I'm going to take some rosemary and chop them up. So fresh herbs. And again, if you don't have fresh herbs and you don't want to put them in, that's fine too.
They sell them in bottles, small bottles, like rosemary and...
Yeah, those are dried. I like the fresh ones better, but you can use dried too. So we're going to just chop them up. And you want to make this one fairly small because you want them actually to touch and adhere to the nuts. Some of them are going to fall off no matter what. The bottom of the container is going to have some spice and stuff that you're not going to attach, but at least it'll flavor it.
I have something to say. I can't hear you when you talk down.
Okay, sorry.
I have a hearing loss.
I apologize.
That's why I didn't know whatever I was eating. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to just chop it really fine so that it sticks to the nuts. About 2 tablespoons are going to go in there too. Give it a stir. And then some salt and pepper. It's going to go at the end. And then just mix nuts. So you pick the favorite ones that you want. So it's about 6 cups, which are about 1.5 pounds. So I've got walnuts, almonds, pecans, and cashews. And they're all raw. So none of them are salted, none of them cooked. They all say raw on them. And guess where I bought it from. So a total of 1.5 pounds is about 6 cups.
When you made the salad dressing, how many servings did you expect to get from that?
That's about 4 cups.
4 cups.
So it's a lot of salad dressing.
Right.
For-
I think a tablespoon or half a tablespoon is enough depending upon the size.
Yeah. Yeah. So an ounce or so.
Sandy, how long will
Oh,
it last?
7
In the fridge, it'll last a couple of weeks. I mean, I've had it longer than that too. If it starts to mold, it's time to stop using it. If the top is buckling because it's fermenting, it's also time to stop using it. Beyond that, you're good to go. You can use a spoon, but I'm going to show it this way. I'm going to show off. So you're just going to mix it really well. My spoon's over there, actually. That's really why I'm doing it.
It made it here.
There we go. So you mix it all together. So right now you've got a little bit of sugar. There you go. Thank you. A little bit of sugar, very little bit of oil, some spices, some herbs, lots and lots of nuts. Then you put it on a sheet pan, which is what this guy is. Do they have their nuts on their pan?
Yeah.
Okay. Take a sheet pan, put them on there, stick them in the oven, roast them for 15 to 20 minutes, pull them out, some salt and pepper on them, and they're exactly what you had today. That's what I did.
Can I
today.
line that with foil?
You can
I'm
foil,
lazy.
you can, yeah. I usually line it with parchment,
Oh,
but
parchment
foil
is
works
good
just,
too.
yeah. I didn't bring either of those, but
Right.
the reason for lining it is because you can clean it easier.
Right.
And I always line my sheet pans because I don't blame you. They don't fit in a dishwasher.
The stainless steel ones clean up better with those pans, but the aluminum's in that stuff.
Yeah. Everything goes on those. So that's it. That's really. What do you think of the nuts?
Fantastic.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. So again, the idea is making choices when you're snacking, and making choices when you're entertaining people in the holiday season. There'll be people coming by, or you're going places. So what do you think would be a healthy way to eat? And opening a package and just pouring something into it that's been fried and processed might not be your best decision. So this is why we picked these things today.
Can you have this without the cayenne? Because
Yeah, of course.
Oh, because I've never had cayenne in my life. It's the first time for every.
What did you
No,
say?
I have sensitive stomach, so I'm not used to it. Is that
Oh.
what's making me feel like a Mexican dumpling me?
Could be.
Okay, I'll jump.
Cayenne's from Latin America. All the chilies are from Latin
But I
America.
can't make it without it.
Yeah, completely. It's just what you're trying to balance is the sweetness of the sugar with the nuts and the saltiness and the pepper, but you can skip the cayenne. And I put a lot in because I put and it calls for the half to I put a full in. But yeah, again, everything is adjustable. There's no this is the way you have to do it. The only idea is to just think about what you're eating and try to be as healthy and make as much from
I'll
scratch.
get home quicker.
Yeah.
Quicker, but I can.
Exactly. I like your t-shirt.
I should be lost about now.
Excellent.
Lost about now.
Good. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Questions or comment?
You don't have to cook the carrots
No.
a little bit?
No. You don't want to cook them. Yeah, no. It's raw. It's completely raw dressing.
And these nuts that you gave us today have the cayenne in them, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If you like spicy.
No, it's not too spicy. not too
Okay, good.
No, it's
Yeah.
well balanced.
Good. Yeah. So that had a full teaspoon of cayenne.
Okay.
This one's gonna be spicier.
What do you think about sauteing vegetables, kale?
So I saute a lot of vegetables. I usually saute it in olive oil.
How long time you usually do this? Because
Just-
I read if you saute too long, they lose the vitamins.
So
5 minutes. What's
I mean, I'm not the nutritionist. There's certain things that are in the food that when you eat them raw, you get certain parts of it, and then when you cook it, you get other ones. So if you ate a raw piece of vegetable and then you cooked it, you might get different nutrients that the body just absorbs differently. But as long as you eat it, is really what they say. When it comes down to is eating healthy, doesn't whether it's raw or cooked, just eat the kale.
So how many
Was
minutes you usually saute the kale or something else?
So kale, what I'll do is I'll wash it, and then whatever that's left on it, I'll stick that in the pan with the kale. So it's a little bit of water. So that the tough vegetables you want to actually cook with a little bit of water first, or you blanch them in water, cook them, and then put them in the saute pan. So a little bit of water in there, cook it for a little while. It'll start to soften, and then once the water's evaporated, then it'll start to saute.
If you put it in the oil in the pan, it also will soften.
Yes, but if you leave a little water on it, it's a good thing. As long as you don't mind a little bit of oil spraying, because water and oil just means bullets are shooting out of you of hot oil. So your pan will be a little.
Except if you're roasting it, then
Yes.
you pat them dry.
Yeah.
If you're making like kale chips.
Yes,
Then
exactly,
you pat
because
it
then the
dry.
water's going to make them
Right.
the problem.
And then
When
you
you're
can put it-
sauteing them, you want them soft. When you're making kale chips, you want them crispy. So yeah, and if you don't want to saute, another way of doing it is roasting any vegetable. That's my big thing. Is I'll just cut it up, put it in this bowl with a little bit of oil, toss it together, season it, and then put it on the sheet pan with a piece of parchment. Put it in the oven and roast it in a single layer, and everything gets crispy and delicious. Yeah.
What have you got?
Where do you get jicama?
Pick 'em up?
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where do I get it?
That's from Trader Joe's.
Dry it
Trader
off.
Joe's?
You don't
Yeah.
want it to go
In that box. It's already pre-cut. If you want a whole one,
That's not a whole one?
Comes out like a
no, they're already sliced. It's a big,
Sweet
sliced
it's a
potato,
roux.
this in the-
yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the Trader Joe's sliced and peeled. So it's just ready to eat.
I love it.
Excellent. And it's worth it coming here tonight
I've
and
been
the great
speaking
information.
Japanese, but I didn't know anything about the jicama. They're not hiding it from me.
I should have met you earlier. Or you. She's found it a long time ago. You had a question? Or a comment?
It'll come back to me.
Okay.
I got distracted.
Yes.
I think that what's been so appreciated, what you've taught before, is just how to roast vegetables and how to chop them. And these seem like really small questions, but I think it's, so if you could address that, that would be.
Okay, thanks.
I remember the question.
Okay.
The trick to soften collard greens, do you have one?
Oh.
Because you can chew forever.
Yeah, so for things like that, when I was saying before, you need a little bit of water on them. For something like collards, what you want to do, besides buy them in the springtime because they're sweeter and more tender in the spring than they are in the fall, is take a big pot of water, big pot of boiling water, put some salt in it, and then bring it to a boil. Put them in, and just enough to start to soften, pull them out. You're not cooking them like Southern where you're cooking from hours in the water, just enough to soften them, pull them out, dry them off, chop them up, and then you can saute them. And it'll be much more tender than if you just stick it right into the pan. So you're sort of pre-cooking it. It's called blanching.
Steaming is also good.
It is. I like the flavor that comes from roasting and sauteing, but steaming is great too.
Yeah, can you use a pressure cooker just for 1 minute and it gets
You
nice?
probably have a lot more experience on that than me.
Yeah, I think you can use a pressure cooker, and if you want to cook beans.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
excellent, I know, but I'm talking about
The vegetables?
and collard greens.
So
They're
the-
so hard, you know.
Yeah, but the problem with the green vegetables, I think if you put them in a pressure cooker, they're going to lose the green. So if it matters to you the color,
Yeah, that's true.
anytime you cook on those, if you want to cook them open, so you never put the top on the water when you're blanching green vegetables, because then what's going to happen is it starts getting khaki looking. And we eat with our eyes as our and the smell.
Does it make a difference in nutrition?
It's totally visual.
Well, I don't care.
If you close your eyes, it'll taste the same. It'll be good for you. But as a chef, I care what it looks like. Yeah.
I've got that question. Is it better to have raw vegetables or cooked vegetables? Which is
Both.
the best way of getting nutrients? Or is it cooked or raw?
Both. As I was saying before, some things are going to give you more nutrition cooked, other ones raw, and most nutritionists will say just eat them, as long as you eat them. There's certain things that the body digest that we as human beings, when we learned how to cook food, all of a sudden there are food and sources and stores of food that weren't available to the bodies before that. So cooking food actually made the big difference in how we as human beings developed. So there are things that come out cooking it, and there are other things that go away by if you cook them or steam them. Or like if you boil vegetables, there are
Now,
certain things that go away.
which one do you recommend to have raw? What's the one that
Both.
you recommend the most to have raw rather than cooked?
Yeah.
It's up to her
It's a-
taste.
Nati, do you have a?
It's no
There is
different
no
than
yes
fish.
or no, or true or
The
false.
cruiser.
there is no
No.
It's whatever your preference is.
You'll
Or do
find
both.
those tomatoes for men,
Cruiser-
when they're
Yeah.
Brussels
tomatoes.
sprouts?
I like
That's hard.
Thank you.
What?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I was-
Instead of carrots.
Oh,
The saving grain shredded.
for this?
Can you put instead of carrots?
Yeah.
Spinach, I don't know, I mean, but.
That's very hard to.
Yeah, like in this, I'd use less vinegar in this. This is really meant to be a dressing. But if you want to puree a soup, yeah, it would be great. So I would probably cook it then. You were asking about cooking it. Throw a bunch of vegetables in with some water and cook it, and then throw it in the blender.
Even with spinach, can I
Yeah,
do it
you could
with
do spinach.
But I have to cook it.
Yeah, well, you want to cook it all for soup. So you put it in some water and cook it, and then you can blend it. You might, if you want pieces of spinach that are whole, you can blend it and then put it back in afterwards. But like squash soup is delicious.
Squash.
Things like that, yeah. So you,
Squash like that.
yeah,
Just
it's
like
delicious.
squash.
You cook it though. You got to cook it.
And you can
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.